The Australian beer. This is not Austrian, it's Australian. Also, they don't have it in Australia. They don't serve Foster's anywhere in Australia because it's not from Australia. It's just a marketing campaign, but that's not the point. The point is it's a pretty good lager and it's relatively cheap.
Someone open this fucking Foster's for me.
Christ alive.
I don't have nails. I have a nail biting problem. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true. I just cut mine too.
You could always use a key or a quarter. Yeah. I tend to use a key now because. Yeah.
Please do it.
Have you seen the new Spider-Man, Paul?
No, Homecoming, no.
No.
No, I'm not. The most recent superhero movie I saw was Wonder Woman. The most recent movie I saw was actually, the tickets right here, The Little Hours, which is actually a pretty good movie. I think it's based on a more classical tale. But basically, it's about a bunch of nuns and a priest who are being very bad nuns and a priest. And it's fun. It's got Aubrey Plaza and a couple of other people from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
It's very dry humor. I like it a lot.
Does Aubrey Plaza play the same role that she plays in every film?
Kind of. She also threatens people with basically every weapon she gets her hands on.
Okay.
Is that the one where she has butt sex in like the last scene?
No.
Okay.
Wait, what?
No.
You don't know? Was it The List?
I have no
It was
idea.
an Aubrey Plaza movie where she basically is a virginal character and then makes a list of sex acts that she wants to do before I think she finishes high school.
Oh, cool.
It's high school or college because high school sounds pretty young for someone to just
To
to have the
start the
climax
whole
of the
butt
film be
stuff.
her trying butt stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the last scene of that movie.
I haven't tried any butt stuff personally. Ladies.
Open territory here.
Yeah, if anybody out there, if the ass doesn't play, get at me. SoundCloud.com/Daniel.
Mark the subject line
Mark
butt
the
stuff,
butt
so I
stuff.
know what you're after.
So we both know what's happening going in. All right.
So
I'll swipe right on that email.
Okay. So.
Speaking of Spider-Man,
Okay.
in Disney-owned cinematic universes, this is D23. Daniel doesn't number 23.
Hey.
It's not the Disney convention.
It is not.
No,
we're
it's
not going to be talking about D23 at all. In fact,
I don't think so. We're not going to talk about Infinity
No.
War leaked cell phone footage.
Well, no, that's relevant to a different topic as well, technically speaking. So we can discuss that. But you're not going to hear shit about Wreck-It Ralph 2. You're not hear anything about
Nothing.
Star Wars: The Last Samurai. You're not going to
Nothing.
hear about Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's all done.
Not in.
Wait, is Joseph Gordon-Levitt going to be in a new Disney movie?
No, it was just a fun name to say.
Exactly, and that's why you're not going to hear about it here.
He's not playing Aladdin
No,
in the Aladdin reboot.
Ever.
No.
After all, that would
Will
be
Smith's the
gentrification.
genie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Donald Glover's Simba.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Who's playing Scar? Isn't somebody cool playing Scar?
Who played Scar originally?
And
And
Irons, or was that Jason
and
Isaacs?
he's still around.
No, Jason Isaacs is from fucking Harry Potter. I was
Oh.
it's Jeremy Irons.
I think it's Hugh Jackman.
Hugh
I think Hugh Jackman is playing
Scar?
Scar, or he's playing the King, the Lion King.
What's
Mufasa. Yeah.
James Earl Jones is
I would
being
be
taken over.
I would
by
be very
fucking
surprised if they did.
Hugh Jackman.
That seems weird that they wouldn't just be like, "Hey, James Earl, you want to come back and do this
Yeah.
one? Do you want to do this one again?"
Do the same thing. You can still talk, right? And he's like, yeah, totally down.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
He's still alive, right? James Earl Jones.
He's old.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. He's got a few years left in him. You should probably use him while you got him.
Touches turns into
To
box
gold.
office gold.
And seriously, he could. If anything, the seasoning of his age has made his voice sound radder. So, fucking do it. Why
That's right,
not?
folks. Radder.
Radder. More rad.
Most rad. Oh yeah. We're in, what is this, Corridor?
Yeah, corridor.
We're in Corridor, California. What's your name?
I might be Paul, your longtime friend and good associate.
Might be. Possibility. And what's your name?
What's up, party people? This is Ricky back at it again.
Back at it again. My name is Daniel.
Probably the best. And by the way, James Earl is back.
Good.
The best casting on this entire thing, no disrespect to you, Gambino, is fucking John Oliver as Zazu.
Oh my god, that's perfect.
That's literally
Yeah.
perfect. It's like, my God, you can't be doing lion things. That's perfect.
That is
That's
perfect.
That's my
That
very
is
bad
perfect.
John
That's
Oliver
okay.
impression.
Don't worry.
It was a decent attempt, though.
Yeah.
So wait,
And
which one's
still.
Hugh Jackman playing? Because I'm pretty sure it's Scar.
Not on this cast list.
Oh,
Maybe
good.
That's a rumor.
Good. I'm fucking.
But is Scar unannounced?
He's unannounced, according to Wikipedia, the ultimate and most definitive source of everything on this worldwide interweb.
No, dude. It's not
No,
that.
dude.
No, dude.
No.
I
Just no.
It's not that I'm like wholly against this. I would prefer someone else.
Yeah.
And then now you're gonna say like who? Christopher Lee's Ghost. One, please.
Is Christoph Waltz not playing Simba?
No, that's Gambino. But if you're talking about Scar, that would be interesting. He's just like, I am not a king. I'm a usurper. Like, I guess maybe that would be backwards, because he would take pride in the fact that he's, I am the king. Who is gonna be the CGI lion that screams out, Sarabi? The best line in that whole movie.
With,
That's the best line.
Yes.
it's up there.
Beautiful. Very mad. It's like if we were playing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game and playing a small raptor, we could shout out, Robbie! That's a very deep cut personal joke,
Yes,
ladies
that
and
is.
gentlemen.
That's for three.
That might not be for everybody out there on the market, but that's okay.
Literally alienating the person who is tied to this the most
Yeah,
right now,
that
Mr. Daniel Doesn't himself.
Yes.
That's okay. I'm used to feeling alienated and marginalized. It's okay.
Well,
Yeah, but
that's
we
because
love you.
you're a marginalized alien. So get out of my country.
Get out of my country.
I like that.
So, how long ago was Evo? That was what, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, that was a smash cut of a transition
Yeah,
there. So Evo was that the second weekend in July? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Somewhere in there.
And yours truly drove up to Vegas to enjoy some punching games. So Evo is the world's largest fighting game tournament stage. It's effectively multiple games are officially sanctioned. This year there were 9.
Yeah.
Those ones get sponsored by various sources, including but not limited to the publishers and developers of the games themselves. And the top class players from around the world come in to compete. And it's treated very much, it is, I would say, the esports event with respect to fighting games. Like, if you don't care about going to every tournament, this is the one you want to sit down and watch.
The world
It's-
stage. of
It's
it.
definitely not as like small and intimate as some of the other local circuits can be, but by and large, it just gets the most attention, it gets the most hype, and it gets the biggest turnout. And that leads to some crazy cool moments from a crowd perspective,
Yeah.
just seeing all these people gathered together for one common thing. Because it's not just these 9 games. There's people there who bring their own consoles and do side tournaments and setups and things like that for smaller titles, for games that maybe you wouldn't expect to be there. Like Sega/Atlas was cool and brought Puyo Puyo Tetris, which is a competitive puzzle game. It wasn't like on a main stage, but it got some representation. I definitely saw someone with a Yoshi's Cookie set up there, which is a Super Nintendo era puzzle game about matching cookies starring Yoshi himself. It's esports, baby. But also like older fighting games or indie fighting games. Skullgirls was present.
This year?
Not on the main stage. I'm pretty sure there was a side tournament. Or maybe they've... You know what? Maybe they've dodged it this year. I'm not sure. But there was also like Street Fighter 2 setups. There were...
That's gonna be a mainstay forever.
Yeah, there was basically everything. If you can think of a fighting game, there is a very good chance that it was there in some capacity. Whether it be representation by like fan art, because there was a very fun artist alley there where people just had all of their own creative work. I chatted with a lot of really cool artists and saw some cool stuff. Just people bringing their own setups, just a general appreciation of it. But the 9 games on display this year were King of Fighters 14, Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2, Blaze Blue Central Fiction, Injustice 2, Street Fighter 5, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Super Smash Bros. 4 for Wii U. Second 4 isn't officially in the title, my bad. Tekken 7 and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Okay.
So those were the 9 titles that were official EVO games. Yeah.
So those were all held like on the main stage then?
Yeah.
Not the main stage. How they divvied it, it's across 3 days. So it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday type event. Friday is effectively all pool play, though they did have the King of Fighters finals on the large setup in the convention center for that one, in the convention center at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. Then on Saturday, that was more pool play, some semifinals, and then they had the Guilty Gear and Smash Brothers Melee finals. And the Injustice finals were in between those two as well. And then Sunday, not in the convention center, inside the Mandalay Bay Event Center, which is like where they have boxing matches and other big events like that. They have that set up in there for that, and I thankfully got tickets for that and was on the ground floor arena side, and that is where they played the other 5 games across all one whole day. So started at like 8 in the morning with Marvel 3, all the way to the grand finals and grand finale. That was Street Fighter 5.
Street Fighter 5 was the finale. That was the big one. That was the big one.
That's the big
That was the tournament that got the most participation this year. I want to say it had the largest pot size because Capcom is a big provider when it comes to esports. They promote their games. Yeah, it's like it started and ended with Capcom.
Yeah,
as far as the lineups
Fighter
that day, and
Marvel are
both.
2 of the biggest staples that brought EVO to the main stage.
And like it's pretty clear that Marvel 3 is on the way out, but Street Fighter 5, with the way they're handling the game, which is with frequent downloadable content upgrades and new character additions, it's going to be around for a while over, say, a Street Fighter 6. So we're going to be seeing Street Fighter 5 for a while, but it's going to be changing its form and its lineup over time.
It's no Street Fighter 3.
Ain't no third strike.
Ain't no third strike.
When is Goku going to be in Street Fighter 5?
Goku won't be in Street Fighter 5. Goku won't be in Smash Bros. Goku will be in Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which was the darling of the show floor this year, by and large. Definitely the longest lineup and waits to play that, as Bandai Namco Games were demoing it on the EVO show floor, and also did a reveal of the first footage of Mirai Trunks for that one during after the Tekken finals, or during the finals. It was after the grand finals.
You drove there. You were by yourself, right?
Yeah.
Did you stay at a hotel or anything? Did you stay in your car?
No, I was lucky enough to stay with a friend of a friend. I was able to. It's like maybe a 10-minute drive from Mandalay off the strip, so that was actually very, very convenient, and they were wonderful hosts. So shout outs to them. Thank you very much if you're listening. But it was. It was. I didn't spend a lot of time there because I would just spend all day at the convention space. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I was pretty much flying solo the whole way through, which is fine. It would have been a lot more entertaining and fun to be there with people, but there's a cool sense of camaraderie there because everyone is kind of there for the same thing. Yeah. I was able to stop and have conversations about the stuff going on, or make friends based on like we're all stopping and looking at some cool booths, art, and just like, oh man, look at that. They've got this thing up there, and that's really familiar, and I like the way they did that. You just start talking to people, and I mean, as long as you're not too socially withdrawn or have any problem with just opening up to strangers, you can have a lot of fun talking to people. Like,
or yelling in public. There's gonna be a lot of that.
I had some quick conversations. Both the guy sitting next to me for the final was someone from who worked at the Bellagio. And so he was just talking, but he didn't know much about fighting games, so I spent a lot of time talking to him and kind of like explaining to him what was happening, why something was exciting, why this event is happening. And then like 3 seats down to me on the right is Gerard the Completionist. So it's just like, okay, cool. Just strike up a conversation, say what's up, and there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, network, baby.
Network, baby.
Woo!
Talk to all the people.
I'm an adult.
I'm an adult. Oh, look. Is that Yoshinori Ono, the producer of the Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite games? I'm going to say hello to him and ask for a picture. And then it's going to be awkward when, my Japanese runs out.
Is that what happened?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was cool. He was nice. He knows enough English from going to so many of these events that it didn't get very, very awkward. But then he had to go on stage and present something for Marvel vs. Capcom. So, yeah. He's a nice guy.
I don't know. I've never met him. I can't say. I can't confirm.
Yasashi da yo. That's for you, Ono-san.
Yeah. I don't know.
What does that mean? Or can you not tell us? Is that just between you two?
No, it's just basically saying like, yeah, no, he was fucking nice. It's cool. Like, he's a nice guy.
Good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Evo. We've watched it before, actually.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. If you know anything about fighting games, it's watching people who have this thing down pat, beating the living shit out of each other, and usually gets very close because everybody's of relatively the same skill level. And it's really fun. It's over a couple of days, so it's like a weekend. So if you hey, you might see that you have a weekend free, and I'd say watch a stream. It's real fun times.
Are there any like crews basically for certain fighters? Like, you know how Mayweather has, what is it, the Money Crew, or that, I don't know, whatever his fucking thing is
Their
called,
posse.
like his fans and his posse. Does it get like that?
There's definitely people
There can
who
be,
had. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I saw like Filipino Champ. He had a whole kind of posse with him.
Gang.
He's a Marvel and Street Fighter player. He made Street Fighter top 8 this year. Shout outs to Dalzim, favorite Street Fighter character for the classic games. Anyway, he kind of had a crew with him. So they do run with people, and when they're sponsored players, obviously they have like teammates, I guess is what you
Yeah.
call it. So they're all wearing kind of the same
shit.
yeah,
from like endorsements and whatever.
right.
Yeah, and like, well, aside from Evo, like in other esports events, you have to play on a team. So entire teams, they of course have friends, and since you're already going as like a gang of 8, you might as well just get a fucking bus and fill the bus.
Yeah, like the thing with this lineup of games is they were all single player type, well, not single player, but multiplayer, but 1v1 type experiences. So nobody is rolling in with a partner or a crew, but there are games that have facilitated that before.
Yeah.
Or they do like exhibition series. I know they've done for certain games like a US versus the world type thing, or US versus Japan type thing. So they'll get top players regardless of their affiliations with like other teams.
Dude.
They will all play together as a team and do like kind of like a round robin style type impromptu exhibition tournament against some of the best from Japan
Okay.
or from the world, stuff like that.
Fighting games, man.
It's all, everyone knows everyone is once you reach like that certain
Yeah.
kind of threshold, and like you spend enough time in there and you just start recognizing people. And like I'm not like in the scene, I'm not going to events all the time or anything, but I followed them for quite a while and watched, and I've been to a few, but like I was familiar enough with players to be able to say comfortably to them, like just say what's up or ask them how they were feeling about this, and they were all very personable. There's just like sometimes you don't want to get all up on them because like they're in the zone between matches and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I wasn't about to like run up to someone as they're walking off the stage for the finals and be like, damn, you got your ass kicked right now, man. Like, no, you don't do that. It's like,
You're like Joe Rogan. You don't improve interviews after the knockout.
Except when they get fucked up.
Yeah, and then they can't say anything because they don't know what the fuck just happened.
Just to provide context, this is in reference to the Cormier versus Jones 2 fight, UFC, what is it, 214?
214.
Which happened on the,
Last night.
what was last night, the 25th, 26th, something like that.
No, like 28th or 29th.
It's the 29th?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, where the fuck is this year going?
shit, we dated the podcast.
Oh, just kidding. Yeah, we saw Cormier take a fucking shin to the face. He got fucked up.
No, that was a straight kick that he ducked into.
Yeah.
Before he could even flinch, his head got cummed off, and he was all reeling, and Jonesy was just like, oh, look, a guy I can punch.
Yeah, and then afterwards, cried like a little bitch.
He didn't, and he was a quitter that slapped away the referee's hand during the ending ceremony. Jones had to come by and kiss him on the back of the head and tell him it's going to be okay. Joe Rogan was like, well, how do you feel about the rivalry? And he says, I guess if you lose twice, there isn't really a rivalry. So I guess this is a point in time where it curls up in a ball, shrivels up, and dies. So
were there any moments like
contact?
were there any moments like that at Evo? Did anybody cry like, quote, a little bitch?
I wouldn't say anyone cried like a little bitch, but like I was basically stage side for the Smash Brothers Melee finals.
Yeah.
And like I caught up with the guy who got second place. He was handling it well. He looked good, but you could tell like there was disappointment on his face. The guy who got like fourth place was clearly distraught over his showing. And I mean, I get it. Like you spend a whole year getting ready for this, and you want to be the guy who like takes that top spot, because
Number one.
for the top three were all people who had won it before. So I believe that, oh gosh, I could be wrong about this, but that could have been his first Evo. So I mean, I get it. You want that. I actually ran into him again on Sunday, the next day's grand finals, and like I just told him like, man, you did good this year, and he just looked at me and like gave me a quick nod, but like was still clearly hurting from it.
Yeah.
Like even though like his teammate actually ended up winning the Tekken finals, so it's like they're in an area where people are celebrating, but he's like, it's still hurting him, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it. It sucks. Doesn't feel good to come all this way and then lose.
Come home
But
empty-handed.
that's still something to get top 8 on the world stage.
It's pretty
You know what I mean?
Bottom line is you did better than the guy who was, watching it, right?
And every person
Like you still went up there and you did it, and failure is just part of life. Like you're gonna fail at some things, and you just gotta take that for what it is.
Probably like half the time.
Yeah, you just gotta learn from it, get back up, and then try again.
It's easy for me to say because I don't play on that stage, and I'm not exactly the most competitive person in the first place, but what it comes down to is, you mean you're not a failure if you're that good.
Yeah.
You lost, unfortunately, but damn, you up there.
Yeah, exactly. To every person out there that was at least middlingly as good as that person and didn't end up doing it.
You missed 100%
You beat
of the
them.
shots you don't take.
Wayne
Wayne Gretzky,
Gretzky,
Michael Scott.
Yes.
All right.
So you mentioned that you didn't go to, you didn't really go out and explore Vegas, right? No hard drugs, no prostitutes, nothing like that.
No, unfortunately not. No, it was fine. I basically kept myself in Mandalay Bay, ventured a little bit into the Luxor, maybe as far as Excalibur, because those are all connected. But it's just one of those things where, like, I was there for something. It wasn't, and again, it was by myself too. That's the thing. Like, I'm sure if I wanted to, I could have made friends with people and wanted to just, do that. But the bottom line is, those aren't the type. Like, that's not
that's
who
not
I
your
would
scene.
want. Yeah, it's not my scene, and it's not who I would want to go out and explore that kind of stuff with. It's the difference between going there for like an event with friends and going there solo for something that
It's
you're
like
taking
a
time to pay attention to.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to miss a moment versus you're making the moments.
Mhm.
It's a 6-hour drive. We can always go there whenever we want at this point.
Yeah, we should. That wasn't the only convention that you went to pretty recently. You went to Comic-Con as well, right?
Yeah, that was a 10-day spree, baby. It was my foot just tapped the mark.
Oh.
That was basically it went. There was drive up to Vegas Day, Evo 1, 2, 3, drive back to San Diego, like 1 day of pure rest, and then San Diego Comic-Con from Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah, you did all 4 days plus preview night.
The entire thing, yes.
You took the whole pill?
I took the entire pill. It was
There ain't no bigger red pill than Comic-Con.
seriously. A little background. As a native of this thing called San Diego, I've been going to Comic-Con pretty much since like I was like really young.
Yeah.
Just one of those things. It was free and easy to do for a while, and then it got progressively more and more hyped up, popular, expensive, and all this stuff. So.
And it didn't really change enough.
Well, I mean, it's changed just in a sense of the feel of everything.
And the subject matter always changes because it's always entertainment in the now. So it's like if you want to be on the cutting edge of like what's coming out in TV, sometimes what's coming out in movies, or even what's coming out in games. Along with like comics, anime, shit tons of stuff. Then, yeah, you do want to be there, and you do want to find that stuff out. You do want to see the creators and talk to them and shit like that. I guess I didn't do that. And I wasn't interested in that at the time. And also the shit that was coming out at the time was not stuff that I was interested in.
Yeah.
Like True Blood was coming out. I remember there was a year where Twilight was a big thing.
Yeah.
I didn't give two fucks about that.
A girl died who had been waiting in line for the Twilight panel because she was like running across. She was running across the street illegally. Yeah, to get back in line because I guess they started letting people in and she got hit by a car.
I not that Twilight panel, but I sat through the tail end of a Twilight panel for one of the last movies, so that I could guarantee that I was present for Paul Rubens as Pee Wee Herman running a panel.
Oh my god!
So that was worth it.
That's definitely
That was a few years ago, not this year.
Yeah.
This year was interesting just on the basis of this was the first. Last year was the first time I skipped a year. If you'll consult a previous episode of Daniel Doesn't, you'll know that I lived in Japan for the majority of 2016, and that included the time that Comic-Con was happening. So I didn't go to that.
Yeah.
So this was the first year back. This was my Spider-Man Homecoming, and so
Bringing it full circle.
woo. So yeah, I guess I was more excited than I would have been because a lot of other times it felt like routine. Like I get excited and I have a great time, but it's always like, all right, time to get ready, time to go. Gotta go do badge pickup, then go in, then meet up with this person, then check out this booth and panel, get this free bit of swag. And so it was nice to slip back into that, but it was also just kind of showed me that, man, it really has just kind of come in a different direction at this point. It felt so much more about getting the exclusive collectibles, like Funko's taken over like a whole back wall of the convention center.
Really?
Because everybody's got to get their pop figures, which that's cool, whatever. Y'all collect what y'all collect. I've spent way more money than I'd like to admit on Amiibo, but it's one of those things where, like, I wasn't aware that that's what the convention was all about.
Yeah, that's collectibles.
Yeah.
Whole subject there.
I mean, I'll admit I picked up some stuff from the Blizzard booth because, I mean, Overwatch is hot, but it was just one of those things where I wasn't about to, like, give up a day to stand in lines.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the sticker.
Oh, yeah, you got it, man. It's
I
one of
might
those...
show up with a Tracer sticker on my helmet.
It's
Why? Because fuck the shit.
Yeah, they had a Toki Doki Overwatch crossover line of stuff, and they had a set of stickers for characters Tracer, Reaper, Mei, and Diva, and I got a set of those. And
I was hoping for Junkrat.
No, nobody cares about Junkrat.
That's bullshit.
Nobody loves the junks.
Yo, he's getting buffed. Did you see that? He's gonna be able to do. They're testing it on the internal build where he can do 2 concussion mines.
Whoa.
Yeah, you can do Junkrat triple jumps now, baby. Yeah, I don't think it's on PTR. I think that's just internal. You can cut all this Overwatch stuff out if you want.
No, it's
but
cool. Me personally, I don't give a fuck about Overwatch, but I know that people do, so I'll probably leave this in.
Fuck it, we'll leave it.
Let's talk about Barbados Slab.
Talk about Barbados Slab.
I do want to mirror your guys' sentiments about Comic-Con, just kind of like feeling a little bit routine. I haven't been inside of the convention hall in a few years. The last time I actually went inside was I think 2012 or 2013.
So it's been a good number of years for you. Same
Yeah,
with me.
and I was there for 2 days, and even then I was like, well, this just feels like territory I've been through before, because I did used to go like starting in 2001, and I would go for 4 days like every summer, and that was like the thing I looked forward to. But I think I got everything out of it that I needed personally. I'll also go hang out like around outside of the convention center, because at this point it kind of spreads throughout like the whole Gasland district and everything.
At this point, though, a lot of the stuff that's closest to the convention center now, you still need a badge to go into, even if it's off-site. Like, I think the Adult Swim thing, the Game of Thrones experience, some Walking Dead experience type things,
That
all
makes
of those.
sense. Those are all big name things.
Yeah, and they're paired to the convention, and obviously they can't have those kinds of walk-around experiences in the center. But it's still, like, the Adult Swim stuff, correct me if I'm wrong, that used to just be you could walk in and do that. You didn't need a badge, right?
Was just outside.
That's true. I didn't test it this year, but it was the same setup as last year, where behind the convention center they just have this giant interactive zone with Adult Swim stuff. But last year when I went, you could just walk in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if they did that this year or not.
But they aired that on television.
Yeah.
And I think too many people might have showed up for it. It might have got too fucked up.
I could be wrong about needing a badge for the Adult Swim one. I never tried personally, but I do know that certain things that I know in the past were just you could walk in, now required badges.
Yeah.
The only holdout for that I know of is there was like an interactive zone with a bunch of stuff over there. I just really went to it because you could get free frozen yogurt over there. And
That's rad.
and the Nintendo Lounge, or this year it was the Nintendo Summer of Play over in the Marriott, which is always free admission. But this year you just had to wait in line to get in because it used to be you could just walk in, like
But
there
too
weren't
many people
lines to
got
get
in.
in. Now
Yeah.
it's
That's right.
huge. But I mean that's good. I would
Huge.
prefer to stand around and wait out there instead of the entire place being compacted. As someone who went consecutively so much and came back into it, I mean, I had a good time this year. I went to a decent number of panels. I got into the Defenders panel in Hall H.
I'm
watched-
very jealous about that.
I watched the whole first episode of Defenders. That was cool. I caught the end of the Preacher panel as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where it's all timing and it's all kind of having a plan going into it. You don't want to set your expectations so high that you're only going to have a good time if you go to the panels you want to go to. You want to have an outline of what panels are going on in that day, and you look at, okay, I'm free right now.
it's about
This
this
panel's
time.
like an hour and a half away. Let's go scope the line real quick. Let's hit up these booths on the way,
See
and then let's park it and see if I can make it happen. That was effectively what happened with some of the ones I went to. The Defenders one was just, I knew that was happening, and I happened to have a friend who went in for the Preacher panel. I was talking to them on our phones, and she said that, oh yeah, there's like no one really in here. I'm just like, well shit, I'm gonna go check out the Hall H line. Lo and behold, not too bad. So in I go, check out the first episode of Defenders and a sneak peek at Punisher. That was cool. So it's like people put a lot of weight on making their ideal experience happen or camping out overnight.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna camp overnight for something
way.
with Comic-Con.
No
Like I'll either
No.
I would sooner just try and talk to people to get in or make stuff happen, or go find something fun to do within that however many hour-long window and enjoy myself that way.
Yeah, the longest I ever waited for Comic-Con was I think 4 or 5 hours. And even at that time, which was the first time I went,
Wait, was that for the fucking...
that was the first time.
masquerade?
No, that was the first time we went.
It was for the Big Bang Theory.
No, it was to get in. It was for the front door.
Oh.
We went just standalone, and we're like, oh, we'll buy our tickets at the door. It'll be no fucking problem. 4 hours later, fucking, we got in, and it was like, I don't know if this was worth this. And also, I'm exhausted from standing in line
Yeah.
to walk around and look at shit.
Go to more panels, and some of the smaller panels were some of the most entertaining ones. Like there would always be one about what was it called? It was people basically debating over which sci-fi spaceships would win in a battle, and they would bracket it off. That was always good. The Masquerade was always good. Not waiting in line to Ballroom 20 to go watch where they actually have the costume Masquerade contest, but going into one of the side rooms where they play it on the TV, because then everybody just yells at the screen, and it's just
yelled in Ballroom 20.
And
we heckled Ballroom 20 hard when we were in high school.
yeah, that was at least 3 or 4 years. And yes, we did do it in side rooms as well because it was fun. And fuck it,
Yeah.
who cares? What are you gonna do to me?
Oh,
I'm a
hail
person in an
praise.
audience. Yeah,
there's no consequences here.
there's no consequences here.
Definitely, God, I gotta tell the story now. Is we were sitting in for one, and oh God, I don't remember what we were heckling, but it was something that just wasn't. It wasn't good, and obviously we were shitty teenagers at the time, so we can't appreciate the artistry that goes into making these costumes, all the hard work, the time, the dedication. These people, like professional cosplayers, kudos to you for doing this stuff and following your passions. Yeah, but obviously we're shitty teenagers trying to make our own entertainment and think that we're on top of the world. And there was a group of...
I am on top of the world.
Woo!
Hey!
You say that into that can of Foster's Australian for beer. So we're hanging out and we're having our fun, and what is it? We see a group of people starts to get up and leave, and they were dressed in pilot outfits from Star Wars, like rebel pilot costumes, like the orange jumpsuits, the helmets, and everything. And I believe it was you, Paul, who just said, like, yes, run now while you still can. And they turn around and just say to us, yeah, to get away from you. And then they're leaving, and we just have a beat, and we're looking at each other, and it's just like, man, I thought the Rogue Squadron would be cool. And, like, that was a thing with us for quite a long time. Yeah. Like, it's just, you make your own fun sometimes.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, did we.
Like, at this point in my life, if I were going explicitly to do that kind of stuff, I would do it in a side room.
Yeah.
At this day and age.
Because
But
that's fucking brutal to do somebody right there.
Yeah.
And we did.
Oh, we did.
We did.
But that's not to say that it was always bad. Like, I remember there was a really good Beetlejuice that one year
Yeah.
who had, like, the carousel hat from the climax.
The whole dig. It was
inflatable mallet
badass.
hands.
Oh
That was
my God.
awesome. This is a few years ago.
Yeah.
Or there was one that was, I think this was like the next year after that, or maybe a year later. There was like a whole group of people that were all just different fictional time travelers that all were hanging out together. Like, they had Bill and Ted, they had Doc Brown, they had Booster Gold, they had like all of these just fictional time travelers
That would've
all
run
coming
into
out
each
of
other.
all coming out of the Bill and Ted phone booth, like just in sequence. I'm like, I would watch that movie. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of stuff, like, there's just those sparks of creativity. And then those are all over. You see that with original costume designs. You see that with people, like, just carrying around a sign with them.
Yeah.
And even some of the merchandise, or especially, like, the artists who are there trying to, like, pitch their work. They're working hard and they're showing off really cool stuff. It's just, you have to go and look for it. You can't get bogged down by, oh my god, that booth is giving away a pin and it's only available right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you
who
even like it?
cares?
Like,
Like,
Guess what? There's gonna be that kind of exclusive item
Bullshit
there
next
every
year.
fucking year.
Exactly.
like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, to put something into perspective on this, one of the first times I went to a hockey game, it was the Stars versus the Kings, and this was at the Staples Center. They gave a coin to us that was, it's specially minted for the game because of the year and blah blah blah. Guess what it's worth? Jack fucking shit. Because nobody cares. Commemorative bullshit isn't how you actually make something collectible. Errors are, and rarity is how you make something collectible. That's why misprinted coins are some of the most valuable. There's government oversight committees that are meant to stop that exact thing from coming out, and it still got out into the real world. It's rare as fuck. So, those are worth money.
I have a first print run of Villager amiibo.
Oh
I think that's worth money. That's the only one whose design changed between printings.
Oh wow.
shit.
Yeah, so there's
Yeah,
that.
sell that for a hot profit.
Still in box, baby.
Oh, turn it over.
Yeah.
Liquidate while the market's high.
As far as collectibles and stuff go, like I didn't really have my sights set on getting anything. I got a couple of those Overwatch things, but that was about it. I didn't want to stand around waiting in those kinds of lines. I would rather walk around and try and talk to people or experience stuff. Like I played Super Mario Odyssey. That game's amazing, and I can't wait till October. I played a bunch of other games that were on the show floor. It was
games.
like I like games. I was able to experience all that.
Mario games?
Yeah. But like sometimes they do have stuff that's like, oh man, I want to stop and look at that. Like Nickelodeon had a really good presence this year because
They
they were
re-releasing Marco's Modern Life.
yeah they're shooting back to
Whatever.
Rocco and Hey
No.
Arnold. Got
Shut-
a lot of
such
attention
a
this year.
dick.
So yeah, it's one of those things where like every now and then you'll see something that's just cool and strikes your fancy, but it's all about again being in the right place at the right time. Like
I'm sorry, I do want to listen to this, but Paul is, as you were talking, Paul pulled up his pant leg to show off this really fucking nasty looking cut, and like gave me a look in the middle of it that said, "Does this look okay?" Doesn't look that great. That'll be the photo for this episode.
Hold it back up.
All right.
Here, I'll get it after.
You'll get it later. But still, yeah, does it look okay?
Yeah, pull it out.
There's some hair.
What is this?
Falling into it.
This is about 1.5 inches long, probably about a 1/2 inch deep. Well, for 3/4 of the cut, and then for a section of the cut, the southern quarter of it, it's probably about a full inch across. Yeah, that's a good scrape. How did you get that?
So I was drilling through a couple 2x4s in a corner, and from the way they were angled, there was also a shear wall. There was an exterior wall, so I had to drill a hole as close to the 2x4 as I could outside, and then go from outside to get the angle. I had to continuously go from inside to outside to make sure I had the angle correct on my drill bit. And in between that was a stack of drywall with about 3 to 4 inch thick stack of bound together prepped sheet metal.
Yeah.
That I was stepping over, and one of the times when I attempted to step over it, I did not do so effectively and caught the edge of it, which slashed open my shin.
Oh. Yeah, it doesn't look great.
Initially, 2 people who were not within the medical profession said that I should probably get stitches, and one person who was in the medical field said it was not quite deep enough to justify stitches.
And you know what? Everybody wants to fucking just chime in and offer their opinion.
Everybody's just an armchair physician here.
Everybody's
Ready
a critic.
to just blow their mindset on you.
Do you have any other conventions that you're going to, like, throughout the year?
Well, I'm thinking about going to PAX this year. That might happen. There's also the chance that... I mean, there's other ones coming down the line. I mean, I almost went to Anime Expo, but timing didn't work out.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we'll talk about this on another episode, but I may have gone to E3.
Oh, maybe.
So, I mean, there's more to talk about as far as conventions go, but yeah, no, it's interesting because ask me when I was younger and I'd be like, conventions! I mean, you can have a good time at any point, but it's just your attitude on them changes with time, man.
And I feel like you can even kind of understand this, not only because you went to conventions for several years and said you became disillusioned on them, but because the same thing kind of happened with music festivals, whereas like you went and you had a fucking blast the first couple times, and then they just kind of faded out. You see the flaws in them more and more as time goes on, and it's like, I really like this, but there's so many downsides to it.
Yeah, I went to Coachella for 5 years in a row, like from 2010 to 2014, and I by the end of like 2013, I was like, okay, I've done this. I'm kind of over it. I had a ticket to FYF this year. I sold it just because I just didn't
Want to go?
Well, it just, I don't know. I don't get excited about things the same way I used to. Just in general. I don't know what that says about me.
Wow. But yeah, I feel you. It's just, to me, it not only is it like the amplification of me perceiving the flaws of it, it's like every year it seems like you lose a little bit of what made it magic the first time.
Initial spark, yeah, the magic.
And
which there definitely was magic early on, and by the time that you get to the end of it, you're just like, I'm just kind of going through the motions at this point.
What to do,
yeah.
And it's like, yeah, aspects of it change, but especially, and this isn't trying to be a dig at Coachella, but they also haven't like altered the lineup enough as of recent, or their attempts to have not been successful, like either because the artists didn't line up or shit like that. That's kind of disheartening to me. But I mean, what are we complaining about here? Gentrification or commercialization? I can't tell.
Somewhere along the lines, we got distracted. You know what we haven't done yet is we haven't had a minute to talk about the mooch. Welcome to the Mooch Minute. This is a new segment on Daniel Doesn't, where me and Paul are going to catch you up on the latest in Anthony Scaramucci's kerfuffles throughout the year.
The befuddlings, his vexings in this world.
One of the first things he did, call the New Yorker and by proxy call Steve Bannon a cocksucker. Yeah. What's your hot take on that, Paul?
I believe he also said that he was trying to, well, in more polite terms, ride the president's coattails. In his words, build a brand off the fucking president's fucking power.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's not something you should say out loud. And also, to quote a lawyer, his pure political ambition also drove his wife to a divorce, which is currently going to happen. He's made, and also the main target of this New Yorker phone call to one Lisa, that's the reporter's last name, was one Reince Priebus, who got called a fucking paranoid schizophrenic.
A paranoiac, as well. I guess
We're going
in
over
regards
the
to the
next
divorce,
subject.
I guess in regards to the divorce aspect, you could say that maybe there's no more cooch for the mooch.
No.
All right,
That's
Daniel
good.
Doesn't is on iTunes and on SoundCloud. Twitter at Daniel Doesn't. You guys have any handles you want to promote or anything?
I don't believe in social media. I'm Paul. Refer to me through his stuff, and I'll hear about it. Thanks.
Stop looking at me.
All right, thank you. Fuck what you're going through.